watching right at the beginning of this, I just want y'all to know we are just starting out with our new show. Well, actually, the return of our show, shall we say. Um, Welcome along, dear viewers. If you're gonna want to tune in only to the audio, you can tune in at 22 West Radio, 22westmedia.com. So tune in over there. Otherwise, y'all can stay here. Y'all can comment. Let me know your guys' opinions on everything going on. We have a lot to talk about today, um, including a new soundtrack that's coming next week for the show. Not that I'll be able to play too much here on YouTube, but you end to get my point. All right. So with that said, welcome, dear viewer, whoever may be present by your chance. Is that my cable? Rotation is locked. Okay, well, I can't do that. Okay, this is very bizarre. I don't know if this is my cable or somebody else's, but for it to be here, it's a little bizarre. All right, I'm gonna get set up here. In the meantime, how y'all doing? Good to see y'all, or good to hear from y'all, however way you want to put it. All right, whilst I set up. Also, a brief update on AMCI Season 3. I do want to point out that filming has taken a lot longer than anticipated because of my reduced frame rate. Increased frame rate, sorry. So, the downside is it's a lot tougher, like a lot more time to film. The upside is there will be a lot more higher quality racing, which ultimately is what matters most. So there's that for you. So just want to let y'all know about that. Stay tuned because this race, I hope, is going to be a fantastic one. I genuinely hope it's a good one. Like, legitimately speaking. Also, I'm going to have Automate on, at least for now. How do I get this on? I don't know, man. Oh, I got it. I still got it. Assuming this holds up. There we go. That'll work. So it'll be a little weird, but I'll have a tripod or something. Something soon enough. Showtime, everybody. Man, beautiful day, Los Angeles, Long Beach, wherever y'all are tuning in from. It has been a long time coming, but I want to welcome y'all. I want to say for the first time in Season 2, welcome, dear viewer, dear listener, to Grand Prix Talk, the show that provides a Big Mac mindset to the Gordon Ramsay Hell's Kitchen Burger 5-star certified world of motorsport, inspired by Nolan J. Sykes and the Donut Racing Show, which, major F in the chat, that show was announced to have been cut off at the end of last year. Which is genuinely kind of sad, to be honest, but, you know, all good things must come to an end. But hey, you know, there's Grand Prix Talk, where we're going to be covering all things F1, NASCAR, IndyCar, IMSA, World Rally Championship. We've got it all. This is your new go-to for all things motorsport. My name is Sergio Morales. It is great to be back here in the studio after a long winter break that we've had, but a busy one in the world of motorsports, to be honest. I wasn't expecting it to be this busy, if I'm legitimately honest with myself, because there is so much to talk about going into today's show. Some racing leagues have already gotten their seasons going. Others are revealing new cars, and others are still so quiet on the wayside, which is outright depressing for fans of said series. I'll bet you don't know what I'm talking about, but if you don't, well, don't worry, you will learn soon enough. All right, so welcome, dear listener. You just listened to Sneakers by Itzy before I started yapping. So for a little refresher, like I said, we cover all types of motorsport series here. We cover Formula One, we cover IndyCar, we cover NASCAR, we cover all the big leagues. We also cover some of the smaller leagues, or should we say the less popular leagues, the more underrated series that deserve more recognition here. Also on this show, assuming they get big news on the way, like Ford joining the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship with the new Mustang. That was very cool to see, but it's too bad that car has been hit with new car woes during the Rolex 24 at Daytona. So obviously there's a lot to talk about. There's a Rolex 24, there is F1 car reveals that are happening right now, and then of course NASCAR also got their season underway this past week unofficially, because it was an exhibition race, at a very upside down clash at the Coliseum. I think we should first talk about what's on every racing fan's mind right now, and that is F1 and their ongoing list of car reveals, of which, goodness me, there have been plenty. Also, before we begin, just a quick shout out to 22 West Radio for getting this up and running. If you can tune in to this show and various others via the 22 West Radio app, available on the App Store and Google Play. You can also tune in on 22westradio.com. Sorry, not 20. I keep getting this confused. I'm sorry, chat. 22westmedia.com. That is where you'll want to tune in if you can listen online, and on the 88.1 FM channel. So we're on all kinds of places, and I'm also live on my YouTube channel giving y'all this show as we speak right now. You can check it out at SMortorsports. That is SMortor Sports, as in motorsports, just with an SMOR instead of an MO. All right, shameless plugs aside, let us get going. We have so much to talk about today, starting with the reveal of Alpine's cars, plural. It's not just a Formula One car that Alpine has revealed this morning. They also revealed a World Endurance Championship race car, and reactions have been mixed, to say the least. If we go on the Twitter, because I'm still not used to calling it X, and I probably never will. If we go on twitter.com and we look at the tweet for the A524, which is the official name of the new Alpine race car. Oh, shoot. I can't really see because, Twitter's acting weird. All right. So, well, there's quite a few reactions here. Someone posted, okay, so Stars for Lando on Twitter said, "What happened to the pink cameo? You lied. It was camo," replied Alpine. CF Racing says, "Wear pink camo." BWT Alpine F1 team says, "Wait, which camo?" "That's just a black car, lads," says Robbo. "Thanks, Robbo," says Alpine. And, well, I am not going to say this entirely because there is a foul language here, but oh, sweet jeez, what on earth is this? Says It's Merry Work on Twitter. The car. The pink is so camouflaged, I can't even see it. Hello, what a machine. Okay, so reactions have been very mixed about this car, and I mean rightfully so, because to be honest, Alpine did promote that there was going to be like a pink camo car. Hello to our viewers on YouTube, how y'all doing? Alpine promoted this sort of pink camo car, but instead gave us like a car that barely has any paint. A beautiful looking car, admittedly. Like, in my personal opinion, I think the black exposed carbon fiber with the blue and pink tint actually looks really, really good. Like, I'll be honest, like, that actually looks pretty sick. The problem is that when you tease one thing, like the pink camo, and people were thinking that maybe they were going to get like a massively like pink on pink car, and it didn't end up happening, well, I can see why the reactions are kind of mixed. Let me see. I'm going to have a look here at, let me see, Alpine F1 2024 car. Because according to Matt and Tommy from P1 with Matt and Tommy, there's two different cars that Alpine launched, not just in Formula One, but there's a third one also for the IMSA WeatherTech Sports, for the FI World Endurance Championship that they launched. So let's see. So Autosport reports that Alpine takes covers off 2024 A524 F1 car. Alpine is the latest Formula One team to launch its 2024 season. And like I said, the car itself looks great, honestly. But, I think myself and a lot of us were expecting like a full pink on pink car rather than a blue and pink and black car or like something else along those lines, which wouldn't be so bad either, but still, it's a little bit disappointing. But it's a nice looking car nonetheless. I'm trying to find a photo of their FI World Endurance Challenger, but man, I don't know. I can't find it anywhere, which really sucks. But I also am trying to find that second car that Alpine launched, because I did see it on Matt and Tommy's reaction video. Let's see. Aha, here it is. Yeah, there's a second car that Alpine revealed, or a second paint scheme more accurately, which turns out to be the same car, except rather than tints of blue, this thing has far more tints of pink. So it's literally the Blackpink car, if you ask me. Like, honestly, why doesn't Blackpink themselves actually go in and sponsor the Alpine F1 team. I know like Patrick Mahomes and crew are now like, I think it was like Ryan Reynolds or someone that is now a stakeholder in the Alpine F1 team. Like, bro, where's Blackpink? Because you literally have a black and pink car. You might as well just bring in the group and help them promote and turn a bunch of K-pop fans into F1 fans for a team that is competing with itself, honestly. I don't know, but my verdict on the Alpine F1 car is I hope it races as good as it looks, because that is a very nice looking car. Like, legit. P1 with Matt and Tommy. Matthew Gallagher from that source says that he's getting a little tired of these like black base cars. And I guess I could understand why, because a lot of these teams are doing it now. It's kind of not exactly revolutionary anymore. But like I said, in my opinion, it looks great. I think it complements the blue and pink tint very well. But I would like to see them, go a little crazy with the paint soon, because it does deserve it. Like Alpine somehow is making some of the cooler looking cars. It's just too bad that they're not really keeping up with most other teams on the grid. Who knows? Maybe this season that changes, or maybe it's just a pretty looking F1 car that can barely keep up with its competitors. Speaking of competitors, that leads me nicely into another team that just revealed their car. The first team to actually reveal it was Haas, with MoneyGram Haas F1 team, which their paint scheme, in my opinion, is more evolutionary than revolutionary. It looks more like a, how do you call it? It looks a lot like its predecessor. It just doesn't look bad, I guess. Which isn't a bad thing, I figured they play it safe. They have the big old MoneyGram sign and then the Haas on the massive side pod. It's a nice looking car, it's just it looks very much like last year's car. And so I guess there really isn't much to say about Haas F1's 2024 car. Let me look at the 2023 car for reference and see if I can spot any differences. Well, okay. The side pod has been visibly redesigned from 2024 to 23. So there is a massive difference in the side pod, which there better be, honestly. As far as where the little shark fin goes, there has been some differences. And, well, okay, so the livery itself looks nice, like I said, just evolutionary rather than revolutionary. And also the car itself, well, there have been some upgrades. It does look quite different from the 2023 car, but ultimately this is just another one of those cars where it's like, given how Haas performed at the end of last year, it doesn't exactly amass to very much. We'll have to wait and see if Haas can somehow start pulling off some solid results and some points. If they can start clobbering together some points throughout the season, and maybe that car will actually look better running towards the front. The same can be said for Alpine, though. Like, they really better start really getting on their stuff when it comes to competing. Williams is next in line, because they also revealed their car recently. And, well, it's the same deal as Haas, where this car is nice. I think the blue looks great on Williams cars, but it looks a lot like last year's car. Williams F1 2024, I forgot what their car is called, but F1.com was courteous enough to provide us with every angle of Williams livery for the 2024 F1 campaign, and you can find it for yourself on F1.com. So it's not like we're exactly exclusive here at Grand Prix Talk. So Williams, that car looks nice also, but again, evolutionary more than revolutionary. Like, this is something familiar. It's something that we saw last year, except for the Vegas paint scheme, which obviously went haywire, but so did most other teams in the grid with the Vegas paint schemes. So for the most part, this car looks pretty nice, I'd say. Their merchandise, however, is absolutely awesome. Like, I gotta give Williams credit where it's due. Their merchandise for 2024 looks great, and I think I might just buy some, honestly. Like, it looks sick. Like, the car looks fine. The merchandise looks great. Also, who the heck is Komatsu, honestly? Because Komatsu looks to be this new title sponsor for Williams, because they're, like, front and center in their side pod. Let me see. Who is Komatsu? Sounds like... Okay, let's see. Komatsu is a Japanese multinational corporation that manufactures construction, mining, forestry, and military equipment. as well as diesel engines, industrial equipment like press machines, lasers, and thermoelectric generators, headquartered in the city of Minato. I am so sorry if I butchered that, but this is a little town in Tokyo. So there's that. So Komatsu is very much like an industrial company. Very interesting, because I know here in the United States we have Caterpillar. The Japanese also have Hitachi, which are far more familiar to me thanks to Joseph Newgarden and the IndyCar series. So there's Hitachi. I know for a fact, like I said, the US has Caterpillar, and that's it. I don't know any other major industrial companies that come right off the bat off my mind, just Caterpillar. So Komatsu, all right, so they are a industrial company in Japan, and they seem to be the new title sponsor, or at least primary sponsor, for Williams in 2024. Kraken looks to be a crypto coin. Gulf Oil needs no introduction, but for all the wrong reasons. My Protein, that sounds like the dumbest name in sponsorship. That sounds like, I don't know, it reminds me of like Nutrisystem or something like that. But My Protein is, it's just whey protein. Like creatine monohydrate, unflavored. For 20 bucks on their website, what does it do? Like, does it actually help me rip up some muscles? Anyway, Williams car looks good, I'd say. Very interesting decision to just stick with what they knew rather than try and switch things up like Alpine did. I mean, but like I said, the same thing can go for Haas. And last but not least, at least so far, we come to the Sauber Formula One team, or as I should call it, the Stake F1 team. Who comes up with these names, honestly? They for sure have had the biggest change in livery of the entire grid so far. Like, I don't know if anyone is really going to pull off a similar change in paint schemes or car livery, like anything like that. I'm just not sure anyone is going to be able to do it like Stake or Sauber is doing it this year. So the Race.com reports, Sauber reveals 2024 F1 car with striking new Stake livery. And, well, one of my buddies on Instagram, she posted this, and she said that this is basically their Stake F1 teams or Sauber F1 teams Ben 10 era. And to be honest, I could see why, but I don't know. Like, it reminds me of something else that I just can't put my hand on at the moment. Get your mind out of the gutter. Right? I was referring to like cartoon characters and stuff. I don't know. Like, it reminds me of a different character, but I don't remember who. But it's certainly not Ben 10. But if you want to make that case, by all means, because this black and green might be the best looking paint scheme of all of them, of all the 4 cars that have been revealed so far. I just wish there'd be like some more prominent Sauber, some more prominent Sauber F1 like labeling rather than just Stake, because I don't know, it just looks like a corporate machine, which it is anyway. So like I said, this team has definitely got the biggest switch up of them all. For anyone who might remember, the 2023 Alfa Romeo Sauber car had black and red, which, quote Alanis Key from the Donut Racing Show, was it Alanis or was it Nolan? It was one of those two. That Sauber was entering their Shadow the Hedgehog era. And it looks like that era has quickly come to a screeching halt, because now they're entering their Ben 10 era, according to one of my buddies. So, Stake F1 team going from red to green entirely, like this bold neon green, and having Drake of all people on their reveal. What is up with Drake anyway? I know he's trending, but for all the wrong reasons, but I haven't really figured out as to why. So if anyone can let me know as to why, well, shoot me a DM at SMortorsports. That is SMortorsports. And let me know what the heck is the deal with Drake, because that doesn't sound very good, but I mean, you know what, on second thought, I don't want to know. Maybe I already know too much. Alright, anyway, so Stake F1 team definitely have their car revealed for sure, and it does look drastically different from the Alfa Romeo Sauber F1 team. How does it become so easy for me to call them Stake already? Holy heck. Maybe it's because I'm thinking of the food. I don't know, but as Sauber prepares to transition over to the Audi era. See, this is the problem with this. Like, you're going to have Stake F1 team for 2024 and 2025, and then in 2026, Audi comes in, and now we're going to have a hard time calling them Audi because we would have been so used to either Sauber or Stake, which I'm already getting used to Stake, and I want some. All right. So all four of those cars have been revealed. So we have, let's see. So Alpine revealed theirs, called the A524. Haas revealed theirs, and I don't know its name. Let's see. And Williams have revealed theirs. It's called the FW46. And Sauber reveals their car called the Stake F1 Team C44, which is a pretty dumb name, but whatever. Of all of these, and honestly, you guys, you can shoot me your opinions on Smorstagram or on my YouTube channel. Let me know what you guys think, because I want to hear from y'all. I think the best looking one of all of them has to go to Alpine, with a close second going to Stake, just because that black and green looks really, really good on this car. And then Alpine just basing themselves off of familiarity, as is the case with Williams and Haas. Just evolutionary, like legitimate evolution here with Alpine, with all of that exposed carbon fiber, and of course the black pink car. Like, how do you? I don't know. I find it kind of funny, to be honest. I was thinking at first coming into the show that I was gonna talk about, what a missed opportunity on Alpine's part, not having what's it called? Not having like a full black and pink car, but they still went through with it. So it looks to me like it wasn't a missed opportunity at all. They actually went through, and those absolute maniacs. I can only wish the best for all of these. Let's find out when other teams are going to reveal their cars, because there are still plenty of cars left. 6 of them, 6 teams are still supposed to reveal their cars. Let me see. Let me look up when F1 teams car reveal. Here we go. 2024. Okay, so Motorsport Magazine reports. All right, so Alpine already confirmed theirs. Well, they already revealed it. All right, so Motorsport Magazine says that RB, the new name for what was once AlphaTauri and prior to that Toro Rosso, they are going to reveal their car tomorrow, apparently. So we'll be back next week to talk about that. Aston Martin will reveal their car on February 12th. Ferrari will be revealed theirs on February 13th. And both Mercedes and McLaren will be revealing theirs next week on Valentine's Day, February 14th. And yes, we do have another episode of Grand Prix Talk coming up then. So by all means, we will definitely be talking about all of those reveals, particularly those of Mercedes and McLaren, given that they would have been the newest ones to reveal their cars. And Red Bull, the defending F1 World Champions, will reveal their cars on February 15th. But let's be real here. Are we really expecting anything different from a car that absolutely wiped the floor clean last year with Max Verstappen? So, there you have it. That is the F1 car launches, at least up until now, because we still have plenty to do. We still have plenty of cars yet to be seen. And shakedowns are not even underway as of yet, but they will be pretty soon once all these cars have been revealed. So we'll see. We'll come back next week to talk more about all the reactions that we have with all of these cars coming in. So be sure to tell your friends. If you think this is the end of the show, it's not. We still have NASCAR to talk about, but my voice box needs a little break here. So I got a little bit of new jeans coming your way. And after that, we'll talk plenty about NASCAR and their occurrences at a very, very upside down clash at the LA Coliseum. I was there. Trust me, the experience was something else. So, oh, hang on, that's new. I didn't realize that was playing. But whoever has these instrumental hip hop songs, like, hey, kudos to you, man, honestly, because that soundtrack is actually pretty neat. Anyway, how do I put this over here? Okay, like, actually, like, whoever puts these soundtracks, I gotta know, because I actually would like to have a chat on how I can add this over to my playlist. But I don't know how this works, honestly. Alright. Anyway, what are y'all doing? Y'all want to send me a tweet? Or, actually, no, I'm not on Twitter. Alright, either way, I got a little... There we go. Okay, so now I figure out how it works. Sorry to whoever's playlist I just messed up. I got new jeans for you. We'll be right back here shortly on Grand Prix Talk, where I'm having too much fun messing around with these playlists. Stay with us. What's good, buddy?
You saw that your music was an automatic upload. It won't reflect until next week because we changed the time.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so just keep it.
Okay. Well, actually, on that note, I'm actually about to bring in a whole new soundtrack anyway. So.
Oh yeah, that's fine. I mean, you just re-upload your music and stuff like that. So.
Yeah. Okay. So we're having a meeting tomorrow, right? Everyone at 22S.
No.
No? Oh, I'm thinking about what's his name? Jerry and the 22S Sports. Yeah, that's what I was thinking about. Okay, so that's what's going on. Yeah, it's at 2 p.m. I thought I got them confused. My bad. Alright, so maybe I can come in like during that meeting and upload everything afterwards. Amira, that's Amira, right? Or I think I shared it. Either way. Alright, so cool. We'll get that done then. Oh, I didn't realize I was still live, but oh well. Fun fact, I'm probably going to catch fire for this, but I'm not a super fan of New Jeans. I don't hate them. I don't love them. They are but another group to me personally. But hey, that song was pretty good. That was Cool With You by New Jeans. Welcome back, everybody, to Grand Prix Talk. We are now talking about NASCAR, as they are the first of 2 leagues that have gotten their season underway. Actually, no, they're the second of 2 leagues that have gotten their seasons underway. The other is the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship, which was their season kicked off, and that race also kicked off motorsports in the United States this year. That would be the Rolex 24 at Daytona. And speaking of Daytona, the Daytona 500, the NASCAR race, is coming up soon on February 18th. Next week on the show, we will be talking about the history, the past, the present, and the possible future of the Daytona 500, which is looking pretty good if you ask me, because Daytona is just one of those races where every driver wants to win, but especially if you compete in NASCAR. So, on the note of NASCAR, they held the Clash at the LA Coliseum this past Saturday night, which was supposed to be a Sunday night showdown, but it wasn't because of all the torrential rain that we've been getting here in Southern California. And actually, before I continue, I do want to make mention that the rain here in SoCal has been very, very messy. It's been upside down for us here. And unfortunately, there were reports of flooding going on in places like Studio City and all that, which I just want to point that out. Like, honestly, crew, if you're listening, like, I mean, what more can I say, right? Like, just hug your loved ones. Like, make sure you let them know, because you never know when one day that could have been one of us whose house is suddenly flooded and destroyed by all this torrential rain, which I do feel bad for the people who are out there. And I hope I can give y'all a little bit of a break, something to wind down to, I guess, something like that. But either way, and there's still more rain on the way. I want to point out, according to the weather.com, there is reports that we're going to get a little bit more rain later tonight. So on your way home, if you're driving at night, please stay dry. Please be careful, because I want to hear from y'all, and I want y'all to tune in next week, and I want y'all to have a good have a good day. Excuse my very weird pronunciation there. It's an autism thing. All right. Either way, with that out of the way, NASCAR and the LA Coliseum sounds to be on the chopping block, according to Eric Estep, who is far and away one of the most credible NASCAR reporters out there. He runs his own YouTube channel, and he and the Iceberg, another highly credible NASCAR YouTuber, these two are starting to think that maybe the Clash of the Coliseum is on the chopping block, which it's pretty sad to me, honestly. But I also have to admit, things are not looking too good for the Clash at the Coliseum. Whereas the Daytona 500 will be totally fine, you can't say the same about the Clash at the Coliseum. And mind you, I was at this race, all right? Allow me to walk you through the experience, which was probably the most bizarre race day experience I've ever had in my life. It was 12:55 p.m. in the afternoon that Saturday, and I had gone to work because, I woke up like at 5 or so around there, which I'm starting to get used to, but I still have a little trouble with it. Either way, it was 5 a.m., went to work, and around 12:55 p.m. was when I got the notification that breaking news: NASCAR's Clash of the LA Coliseum is not going to be tomorrow, or aka Sunday, February 4th. It was instead going to be that very night at 5 p.m. Pacific. And let me tell y'all, my eyes absolutely lit up when I saw it. When I saw that announcement, I thought, oh goodness me, I've got to move so I can get to the race on time. Because you bet I was going to be at this race. Like, I asked my close friends list on Instagram, like, tell me this. If I hear about a NASCAR race happening that night, like, you bet I'm going to be moving quickly to get there. And yeah, everyone agrees, and I myself agree. That is something that of course I would do, because that is literally my way of life. Either way, so I rushed through work. I finished around like 2:45 p.m. My father and our crew, we finished work at around 2:45 p.m. So I had only 2 hours to get from where we were working down in Torrance up to the LA Coliseum, which is on the complete flip side of town, up north. So that wasn't very fun. And also I had to stop home. I had to go home in order to get changed up before going to the race itself, because obviously we weren't exactly going to go in work clothes, or at least I wasn't. No one else in my house was planning to go, which sucks because I wanted to take my mother. Hello, Mom. I don't know if you're listening, but thank you for your efforts this morning. That was something else. All right, so I planned to take my mother earlier, like that was the initial plan, but unfortunately, because she had to stay and babysit my nephew, that wasn't quite possible. We can't take, like, what, a 7-month-old little kid? Not even a kid. This dude's a little baby. He's literally only 7 months old. We can't take him to a NASCAR race. He'll be completely overwhelmed, even with, noise canceling headphones and all that. That'll still overwhelm the dude. So she had to stay home, which I personally wasn't very happy about. But like I said, what more can you do? It's just one of those things that just sucks, honestly. So we ended up getting home around 3:20 p.m., like around that time, 3:20, 3:30, around there. So I had to quickly change, like just change out of my work clothes and into my race fit, so to speak, and get over there as quickly as I could. I ended up going on the Metro. I took the Green Line and the Silver Line up to the LA Coliseum, which that went by a lot quicker than expected. I think I got there around 4:25 p.m. Unfortunately, not 4:20. Sorry. 4:25 p.m. was the time that I was able to get there. And from there on out, my buddy Ian shows up. Shout out Ian, what's good, brother? So he shows up, and he had already managed to get seats right at the very front because, mind you, admission was completely free to everyone. It was going to be free. So there was going to be free admission Saturday night either way because of the heat races, the practice qualifying / heat races that were supposed to happen on that day, which offered free admission to everyone. Instead, we ended up getting the big race itself. So there was a major change to the format where the practice session, your fastest lap time there is your starting order. And only, the top 23 people ended up getting into the main event, which was only happening 2 hours later. So that was very interesting. That was a very interesting format, so to speak, where you practice basically is qualifying. I don't know how I feel about that, but it'll stir some reactions. Excuse me. I woke up super early this morning. All right, so that stirred up some reactions for sure. So 5 p.m. rolls around. They sing the national anthem and all that. That was neat. No flyover, unfortunately, but you can't exactly call up somebody with a jet fighter and with a fighter jet and just say, hey, can you fly over for a NASCAR race in 2 hours time? I don't really think that's how it works. I have to ask my dog Eric, because he serves in the U.S. Army. Either way, So the flyover happens, cars start rolling out, like they literally roll out the cars from that tunnel in the Coliseum onto the racetrack itself. And I will say that was pretty cool, but also I found it kind of bizarre how there was no driver intro, so to speak, where drivers were like actually walking out on stage and waving to the crowd whilst they're getting cheered or booed, depending on who it is, depending on who the driver is. So that was a little bizarre, if I say so myself. Either way, very interesting. The race gets underway around 5:09 p.m. and goodness me, it was beautiful to hear them cars roaring down the track again. Like, I know they're only hitting like 80 miles per hour before they slam on the brakes to get down to 30, but still, like those noises from the cars, whew, few things compare. I will say that for sure. So the first half goes by pretty quickly, honestly. It was only halted by one caution, and that being from the number 38 Ford Mustang, which that car, its brakes completely failed. And if you saw the television broadcast, or if you look at the race highlights, them brakes were red. Like they were redder than this red light that I have right in front of me that's indicating that we are on the air at the moment. Like they was brighter than that, which is not a good thing. It looks amazing, but you don't really want red hot brakes either. You know, like I don't think red hot brakes are exactly going to be your best friend when you're at a track where you're only hitting 30 miles per hour in the braking zone before zooming up to 80 and then doing that thing within 5 seconds again. Not exactly ideal. So first half went by pretty smoothly, but the second half is when things started to go awry. There was like 2 or 3 cautions right within the first 5 laps of the second half. And mind you, during the main event, no caution laps counted. So if there was a caution on the track, that lap counter stopped. It was basically a red flag. So that was a little interesting. And then with only 2 laps remaining, because we got a caution right as the white flag was waving for Ty Gibbs spinning out. Ha! Not that I was exactly angry about it. No offense. I just don't like Ty Gibbs as a driver. What can I say? Anyway, so there was that, and and then my other buddy Kato shows up, and she made it just in time for the 2-lap shootout that was going to end the race, where Denny Hamlin would emerge victorious after holding off and gaining some distance between second place Kyle Busch and third place Ryan Blaney. So, and he made fun of us for, beating our favorite drivers again, which I'm glad he did that. I'm glad I got to see that in person. That was pretty neat. And then the NASCAR Mexico Series goes in, and their lap counter doesn't stop no matter what. Like, if a caution flew, well, that's too bad. The caution laps counted also. So NASCAR Mexico, I gotta give them big ups, honestly, because that race was actually a lot more competitive and interesting than I was expecting it to be. Considering this is supposed to be the top level of stock car racing in Mexico, for them to come over to the U.S. as a support series to the main NASCAR Cup Series, they actually put on a pretty good show, not gonna lie. Like, it was pretty interesting. There was a moment where it all fizzled out and it looked like a bit like a car parade, but for the most part, like, there was some moves being made. There was some drivers absolutely diving into turn 3, hoping to make a move that sticks. Me and my buddies, we were definitely screaming and cheering as that happened. And Daniel Suarez eventually came away with the win, which I am so glad he did, because he was my pick to win the NASCAR Mexico Series race, and it ended up happening. Kyle Larson was my pick to win the Cup Series race, but that did not happen. Instead, Denny Hamlin won it. So, very, very bizarre circumstances to put on a NASCAR race in, but I'm glad that it got done at all. And honestly, the next option would have been either to cancel the race or be holding it tonight, which, really, who's going to show up on a Wednesday night for NASCAR racing, even if it's free? And mind you, the audience size of the people who were there, the backstretch looked relatively sparse, so to speak. Like, there was still plenty of seats left. Like, turn 3, turn 4, the backstretch, but the front stretch actually looked pretty packed for the circumstances. Front stretch, actually, there was a pretty good atmosphere going on over there. So if you wanted to have a good time at the race, you had to be at the front stretch. You had to be sitting near the start-finish line, or at least by turn 1, where my buddy Ian and I were sitting. When Gato joined in, Ian and I, we all went over to like turn 4 over by the tunnel, which makes for a pretty good photo op, but also so we could get a better angle of the NASCAR Mexico Series race. Considering admission was free, we could move around anywhere. I tried to convince him to maybe get to the start-finish line, but, the tunnel still made for a pretty
for a pretty nice angle, especially when them cars were rolling out. That was pretty sick. So that's my experience at the NASCAR Clash at the Coliseum on a Saturday night. NASCAR.com recently posted a Daytona turning point, Busch Light Clash fallout, trending storylines, and news. So let's dig into this, and I'm going to give my take on everything. Question 1. Is Denny Hamlin going to be the main character of the 2024 NASCAR season? No. He will be one of the main characters. Kyle Busch is, I feel like he's starting to get back into the enemy role again. Denny Hamlin has full-on embraced that enemy role for sure, and I am totally here for it. He might just become one of my favorite drivers solely because he embraces the enemy role rather than tries to run away from it. Man, that was... my respect for him went way up after that I beat your favorite driver at Bristol. So when he did it again at the Coliseum, I felt like I witnessed history right then and there. So, I don't think Denny Hamlin will be the main character of 2024 NASCAR. He will be one of them. I think he might start a rivalry with someone this season. There's already talk going around that Joey Logano and Ty Gibbs might have a rivalry of sorts, considering that those two were really hitting fenders during the main event. And I could see why. Like, those two race equally as questionable, so to speak. Though Ty Gibbs sometimes has a reputation of being an outright jerk. The same could be said for Joey. So the two jerks of the field meeting and crashing into each other all the time, yeah, you bet there's going to be a rivalry between those two. This is just a villain showdown between those two, and the same could be said for the Super Bowl, which is coming up later this week. So, yeah, that's my take on Denny Hamlin and his possible main character arc of the season. He'll be one of them, but he won't be the only one. Question 2. How much can we read into the rest of what happened in LA? Well, shoot. Apparently, okay, Christopher Bell, now I remember, I forgot about that dude. Christopher Bell did not make the main show, neither did Daniel Suarez. So, and this dude was a back-to-back Championship 4 contender last year and the year before for the NASCAR Cup Series Championship. But I don't know. I think it's still way too early just because the Busch Light Clash, that track is a quarter mile in length. Half of the tracks that we have at college campuses are also a quarter mile in length. We have one here at Cal State Long Beach. That track is a quarter mile in length. And you know what? Us on foot, we can run that lap. I've run those laps before in a minute and a half. So, I mean, a NASCAR stock car is going to run that lap in 13, 15 seconds around there. So, but then you look at a track like Daytona, which is coming up next in a couple weeks' time. And that thing is just a massive super speedway. You're basically comparing, I don't know, I'm trying to think. You're basically comparing an elephant in Daytona to my dog that is the Busch Light Clash. Let me tell you, my dog is pretty small. So I don't know. I think it's still too early to make any judgments because with the track that small, you're not exactly seeing full stand outright speed with the race cars and the racing style. So I don't know. Question, or actually statement number 3. Clash is in session. What a stupid pun that was. I am completely loving it. We saw a feud between Joey Logano and Ty Gibbs spark up at Martinsville last fall and immediately pick right back up at the Clash. Will this one boil over in 2024, says NASCAR.com? You betcha. I told y'all, these two have beef going on, and I saw it at the Busch Light Clash. I have no doubt that these two will, these two are going to tangle feathers again. Let's see if I can hear the audio here. Hold on. All right, let me replay that clip. Let's see if you guys can hear it. So I know you can mostly hear more car noises than anything. Also, I am so glad to know that you can actually play computer audio onto the main play, because that will serve in handy whenever I have to replay like radio commentary or anything like that. But you could hear from that clip alone. Granted, you could hear a lot more race cars and such, which that's a great noise. But mainly you could hear someone saying, guys, calm down. Like, you know, and from watching the clip myself, I am seeing that these two are not happy with each other, that there's some beef going on. And I have no doubt in my mind, we have not seen the last between Joey Logano and Ty Gibbs. If anything, I feel like this rivalry between Logano and Gibbs is only getting started. We're seeing the two meanest drivers on the grid. Like, they're now locking horns, and I don't doubt that this is going to continue. Who knows? Maybe even at the Daytona 500 in a couple weeks' time. Though, I think mostly at the short tracks, because the last time these two locked horns was at Martinsville, which is a short track, a half-mile in length, and now this one a quarter-mile in length, and here they are again. So who knows? But I feel personally we are definitely going to see this rivalry go about. And statement 4, drivers who won in 2022 but not in 2023. Will they win in 2024? All right, well, let's have a look at this list, because there are 3, 6, 9 drivers who have won races in 2022 but won nothing in 2023. Chase Elliott, he had 5 wins to his name in 2022. His best finish of 2023 was 2nd place, and he did this twice. With his average 2023 finish of 13.1, I don't doubt that maybe he's got the best shot at scoring a win this season, but I can't say for sure if he wasn't able to pick one up in 2023. Also, he has 18 career wins to his name, the most of this list here, which consists of Alex Bowman, his teammate, Chase Briscoe, Austin Cindric, Austin Dillon, Eric Jones, Daniel Suarez, Bubba Wallace. Alex Bowman, I feel like he probably will win a race or two. I mean, it's about time that he did. He did get 1 race win in 2022, and his best 2023 finish was actually 3rd, also twice, with an average finish in 2023 of 17.2. It's going to take some work from the 48 crew, but I feel like he does have the juice in order to get it done. Chase Briscoe, he won Phoenix, and justifiably so, in 2022. Was it 22 or 23? It was 22, yeah. So he won Phoenix, which, you know, that would have hopefully have been an indicator that he might have been a legitimate contender if he made it to the championship 4, because the championship race is held in Phoenix. But no, he ended up finishing 4th place twice and an average finish of 20.3. He did show some pretty good competitiveness on the dirt track, but we are not racing on dirt this year, so that's too bad for Chase. He's really going to need to give it everything in order to score a win. Austin Cindric, he was there when it mattered most at the 2022 Daytona 500, leading the very last lap and holding off Bubba Wallace in what was almost a photo finish. That was a solid win for old Austin Cindric, but if the son of Tim here is going to win, well, I feel it will definitely come at a super speedway, whether that's Daytona, Atlanta, or Talladega, but he's got to be there when it matters. And I want to see this guy win some more races, because I am a huge fan of Team Penske and of Ford, and this dude drives for the both of them. So I want to see Austin Cindric get up there and compete for the front of the field, but he's really got to prove his guts, and not just on super speedways. Though I do feel like if he wins a race this year, it's going to be at a super speedway for sure. Austin Dillon. Oh, by the way, Austin Cindric's best finish in 2023 was in 5th place. So take that as you will. Austin Dillon did score a win in 2022. His best finish in 2023 was actually a respectable 3rd place. While I'm not sure that he can score a win in 2024, I wouldn't exactly count this guy out, just because, like, this guy wins, and it's always a surprise when he does. So honestly, he could win the Daytona 500 a 2nd time by wrecking some other driver, honestly. Or he might, you know, be there when it counts at a short track or a super speedway. Heck, he might even find his road course mate over here. Nah, he probably won't. I'm just saying, if Austin's going to win in 2024, he's another driver that's really going to need to dig in, and he's going to need to work hard. The same can be said for Eric Jones, who also scored a win in 22, but had a best finish of 2023 of 3rd place. Now, Eric Jones has 3 career wins. Austin Dillon has 4. And this dude, Austin Dillon, when he wins, it's always the races that matter most. The Daytona 500, the Coke 600, save for one win in Texas. I feel like those, yeah, it was like he won the Daytona 500, he won a Coke 600, he won a race in Texas. I don't remember where that fourth win came in, but it went somewhere. Eric Jones with 3 race wins. He also won the Daytona, but it was not the Daytona 500. It was the Coke Zero Sugar 400. And hey, that's still a respectable win, but this is another driver who really needs to dig in order to get back to the front of the field. Daniel Suarez, my dog, he won a race in 2022 at Sonoma. That was his first career win. It was awesome to see it. Although it was on television, I still thought it was amazing to watch. A Mexican, just like me, winning a NASCAR race like that was sick. His 2023 best finish was 2nd place, though, and he had an average finish of 19th. So that's not exactly where you want to end up with your average finish. Though a 2nd place best finish in 2023, he definitely has the potential to move up 1 spot and get a race win this season. But it's going to be at a road course or a street circuit, because I feel like that's where Suarez shines the most. I mean, we saw it at Sonoma last year when he didn't win out of luck. He won out of pure merit, and that was great to see. So if Suarez wins a race this year, which I really hope happens, it's probably most likely going to be on a road course. I'm not sure he can do it on a super speedway, but who knows? I could be wrong. Bubba Wallace, he won in 2022. He actually has 2 career wins to his name. One of them was a rain-shortened race at Talladega. The other was a legitimate race win, filling in for our now retired dog, Kurt Busch. Too early that guy retired, honestly. It sucks, but, you know, I hope Kurt's been all right. I don't know if he's listening. He probably isn't, but, you know. Kurt Busch, if you're listening, I hope you're good. So Bubba Wallace filled in for Kurt Busch while he was away trying to recover during the 2022 season, and he did score a race win in Kansas during the playoffs, which, I mean, that was a win he got out of merit, so good job to him. His best finish in 2023 was 3rd place, and the best average finish of 15.9 is actually significantly higher than that of Suarez, and especially Eric Jones. Of this entire list of drivers that I just mentioned, Austin Dillon has the worst average average 2023 finish, not photo finish, at 21.8, which is not good, at least relatively speaking. The highest would be Chase Elliott with 13.1, so Bubba Wallace isn't too far behind with 15.9. So maybe he's got something. He might be able to score a win, but if it's going to happen, it's going to be, again, at a super speedway or even at an intermediate, like last time out, when he won out of merit. Super speedway wins, though, those can go to anyone, really, and we know that. So there you go. I think of all of those, that is a very nice Talladega logo, by the way. Of all of those, I feel like Chase will probably take a win. Bubba probably will also. Suarez, like I said, it's going to happen at a road course if he does get a win this year. I mean Chase Elliott, by the way. Chase Briscoe, you know, like the rest of these drivers, I do hope that they can score more wins. But they're going to have to work really hard for it. No doubt about it. Now, that's going to conclude our segment for NASCAR. In other brief news before we go, Kyle Larson has tested an IndyCar at Phoenix Raceway in preparation for his bid at the Double, which is happening in May, where he will be running both the Indianapolis 500 and the Coca-Cola 600 on the same day. The last driver to do that was Kurt Busch in 2014, and he completed roughly 900-ish miles of the 1,100-mile marathon. That is the Double. Kyle Larson will be trying to do that, and he will be trying to better Kurt Busch's mile count, and maybe even be the 2nd driver in history to complete all 1,100 miles. The first driver to do that was Tony Stewart, and that was way back in the early 2000s. I was still a baby when it happened, if I was even born. Let me see. Let me look it up, actually. Tony Stewart, the Double. Whoops. All right, so double duty. What year did Tony Stewart do the Double? He did it 2 times, in 1999 and 2001. And that was in 2001. I wasn't even around when it happened, because I was born in 2002. So Tony Stewart was the one driver to have completed the double, and he did it in 2001. So Kyle Larson will be attempting to do the same thing later this year. So that's why he tested an IndyCar at Phoenix Raceway. And I gotta say, it looks pretty sick. We'll have to keep you updated on how that goes. So keep an eye out for that coming soon. In other news, Talladega Superspeedway has revealed a new logo, and I gotta say, I don't like it, but at the same time, I do like it. I don't because it's another example of oversimplified logos and a missed opportunity to put some Alabama, structures or something, stuff like that can actually distinguish the logo. On the flip side, it looks good. It's evolutionary, I guess, but I don't know. This will definitely have plenty of reactions for sure. At least I think. I could be wrong. Well, there you go. That is your brief roundup before we go. Next week on the show, tune in. We'll be talking about the Daytona 500 and the history of the race and what's coming for not next week, but the week after's edition of the Daytona 500. So thank you all so much for tuning in to this first episode back of Grand Prix Talk. Man, it's been quite a little bit, honestly. Like, it really has. So it's great to be back here on the show. I hope y'all have a great rest of your day. Remember, it's still going to be raining out here, so please be careful with that rain. We're supposed to be getting more rain later tonight. And if you're going to watch the Super Bowl, make sure you don't stuff yourself up too much because, food matters, and I'm excited to eat plenty of food. But, also, I'm not rooting for any team. I want y'all to know that. Anyway, my name is Sergio Morales. You can find me on Instagram at SMortorsports, on YouTube at SMortorsports, and you can find 22 West Radio online. All of them is 22 West Radio on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter if they have one. And don't forget to log on to 22westmedia.com for all the latest shows, including this one. We'll see you next week to talk about the Daytona 500. Everybody, take care, and I'll hear from y'all next time. Peace. Thanks for tuning in, team. Be back next week.